The air hung heavy with the scent of ancient earth and the metallic tang of fresh water, a symphony of forgotten ages. Beneath the churning surface of the first river, where legends whispered of a time before time, something stirred. Dr. Aris Thorne, a man whose life had been dedicated to deciphering the silent narratives of the past, felt it in his bones. His team, a motley crew of geologists, linguists, and dreamers, had unearthed not just ruins, but an entire city, perfectly preserved, its structures defying the very laws of erosion. But it was not the architecture that sent shivers down Aris's spine. It was the script, etched into every stone, every artifact, speaking of a history utterly alien to their understanding. "It's impossible," whispered Lena, the lead linguist, her voice barely audible above the hum of the excavation equipment. "These symbols, they predate Sumerian, Egyptian, everything, and the messages, they contradict every single archaeological theory we hold sacred." Aris, a man of quiet intensity, had always been drawn to the edges of known history, to the whispers of what lay beyond the accepted narratives. His journey began not in dusty archives, but in recurring dreams of a city submerged, a place of profound peace and unimaginable knowledge. He saw himself walking through crystal streets, hearing voices that spoke of the great weaving and the heart of the waters. These dreams, vivid and persistent, had driven him to the first river, a place dismissed by mainstream science as archaeologically barren. The river chose its moment to reveal itself, Aris mused, tracing a finger over a tablet depicting beings with luminous eyes. Perhaps we were not ready until now. The call to discover something beyond had become an undeniable current in his life, pulling him towards this sacred, forgotten scenario. As the excavations deepened, the revelations grew more unsettling. The city, which they tentatively named Ethel, meaning noble river in an ancient tongue Lena was slowly piecing together, was not merely old, it was other. Its inhabitants, according to the intricate carvings, lived in perfect harmony with the river, drawing energy and sustenance directly from its flow. They spoke of a great memory, a collective consciousness accessible through the water itself. The messages weren't just historical records, they were philosophical treatises, scientific equations, and spiritual teachings, all intertwined. They believed the river was a living entity, a keeper of universal truths, Lena explained one evening, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and fear. And they claim that humanity, as we know it, is merely a shadow of its true potential, having forgotten its connection to the source waters. The resistance began subtly. Funding became mysteriously difficult to secure. Equipment malfunctioned with increasing frequency. Whispers of a hoax or delusion started circulating in academic circles. Aris felt the internal conflict intensify, the thrill of discovery warring with the gnawing doubt planted by external pressures. He saw figures in his peripheral vision, fleeting shadows that seemed to guard the deeper secrets of Ethel. One night, a crucial section of the excavated city containing the most profound texts collapsed without warning, burying Lena's most recent findings. "They don't want us to know," Lena cried, her face streaked with dirt and tears. "There are forces, Aris, ancient forces, that wish this knowledge to remain buried." Aris knew she wasn't speaking of geological forces. He felt the weight of a silent, watchful order, an unseen hand trying to pull the veil back over Ethel. He had lost precious data, but gained a terrifying clarity. This was more than an archaeological dig. It was a confrontation with forgotten powers. The climax arrived not with an explosion, but with a profound, silent revelation. Driven by a desperate intuition, Aris ventured alone into a newly exposed chamber, deeper than any they had reached. The air was thick with an ethereal light, emanating from a colossal pulsating crystal at the chamber's heart. As he approached, visions flooded his mind, not just images, but feelings, memories that were not his own. He saw the people of Ethel not as ancient beings, but as luminous extensions of the river itself, their consciousness flowing like water, interconnected, eternal. He witnessed the great weaving, a cosmic dance of energy and information, where every thought, every emotion, every life was a thread. He understood that the river was not just a body of water, but a conduit, a living library of universal consciousness. The messages on the stones were not just history, they were instructions, a forgotten manual for humanity's true potential. The crystal pulsed, and Aris felt his own consciousness expand, dissolving the boundaries of his individual self. He saw the source waters, not as a physical place, but as the very fabric of existence from which all life emerged and to which it would return. This was the truth, so vast and overwhelming that it threatened to shatter his very being. The illusion of separation, of individual struggle, collapsed around him, replaced by an oceanic sense of belonging. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our content. And tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We would love to know. The revelation left Aris profoundly changed. He emerged from the chamber not as the same man, but as a vessel of a truth too immense for words. The immediate aftermath was a blur of frantic activity as the team tried to stabilize the site. But for Aris, the external world seemed distant. He retreated to a small, secluded tent, spending days in contemplation, the visions of Ethel replaying in his mind. He spoke in metaphors, describing the river of consciousness and the echoes of the great weaving. Lena, sensing the depth of his transformation, listened patiently, trying to decipher his cryptic pronouncements. The conflict within him had dissolved into a profound insight. The true battle was not against external forces, but against the amnesia of the human spirit, the forgetting of its own divine connection. He understood that Ethel was not just a city, but a mirror, reflecting humanity's lost potential. Aris knew he could not simply present his findings to the world in a conventional academic paper. The truth of Ethel demanded a different kind of legacy. He began to write not a scientific report, but a narrative, weaving together the archaeological data with the spiritual insights he had received. He spoke of the river as a metaphor for the flow of consciousness, of the city as a symbol of humanity's interconnectedness, and of the ancient texts as a forgotten language of the soul. He entrusted this manuscript, a codex of his own making, to Lena, knowing she possessed the sensitivity and intellect to understand its true weight. "The river has spoken," he told her, his eyes holding the wisdom of ages. "It is up to us to listen and to remember." He then walked away from the excavation, leaving the physical city to its slow reburial by the shifting sands and waters, knowing that the true city, the city of consciousness, now resided within him, and within those who would dare to read his words. The question lingered in the air, a gentle ripple on the surface of the first river. Would humanity choose to remember the kingdom the waters tried to bury, or would it continue to slumber in the shadows of its own forgetting? And if you liked this story, you will definitely love the next one that's appearing on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, leave your like, and activate the notifications. See you in the next one.